Welcome to another edition of Voices. My name is Augustine Ambe. Today I do have Eric Ate, our community coordinator, our new community coordinator. Congratulations for your new position.
Thank you.
Yes, Eric took over from Roger, who was our previous coordinator. And Eric, it must, to take over in general, the Ambazonian community in Minnesota, you have to be a strong community man and a strong Ambazonian to do that.
Yes, again, my name is Eric Ate, and thank you for having me here.
Yes.
It has been really exciting ever since I took over. And one of the things that I feel very blessed about is that the Minnesota community is very devoted to the struggle and to our refugees, and as a matter of fact, in every aspect of the struggle. Mm-hmm. The Minnesota community is vibrant. I've been here for a very long time, and most of the people who live in Minnesota are people that I know. Mm-hmm. And they're people that I trust, and they're people that I can work with. So whenever you take a leadership role, you don't go and say, hey, I'm just going to lead people. What you do is you empower people to do the right things. Mm-hmm. And the Minnesota community has really done a great job in the sense that they have really embraced me in the first place, and I have actually appreciated the fact that they are very determined to do the right things that I know would benefit our struggle.
Yes, so, when you say you've been here for a long time, I don't know when you actually came here, but most of us who came here, we really never had an adult life back in Cameroon. It was really Cameroon then. We did not have an adult life. So in a way, we've grown up here and we've known each other, and so you're working with people that you know.
I'm working with people that I know, and by the way, let's not forget the fact that there are really young people who came here way after we got here.
Yes, especially in the 90s.
They are so dedicated to what we are trying to do here.
Yes,
and we cannot just because they have more. These are young people with a lot of energy. Yes. These are young people who are fighting for their future, and they can see what is happening, and they are really bent on making things better for the country that we seek to achieve.
Yes. Before we go talking about the struggle, though, let me continue to keep you in Minnesota here. 2 weeks ago, Minnesota actually shipped a container, and that was not the first container they shipped. Yes. And I know when that information went nationwide, because we've been doing it quietly, and I think because of the non-profit organization that was formed, we Esteem happened to be there to kind of capture some of that, and we talked to you too.
I know some might say maybe the United Nations is doing something, but we will not let our people suffer. So we are doing our best to load whatever we can to send to them to relieve the pain that they have endured. And we commend them for their steadfastness, and we also want to send a message to La Republique that we never abandon our people. So we are on our own, Ambazonians, and we're going to have to do what it takes to make things better for our people. And that's what we are doing here today. We have medication in there, we have first aid in there, we have food items, bags of rice, clothing, wash machines, and everything that you can ever think about. So this at least will give the refugees some solace. It will give them some confidence that at least we haven't abandoned them.
Tell us a little more about how Minnesota organizes itself to accomplish things like that.
Well, the thing is that to accomplish something like that, you have to be motivated. Mm-hmm. You have to have a good heart. You have to understand that sometimes you take responsibility for certain things. Our refugees find themselves in Nigeria, and they didn't find themselves there by mistake. They found themselves there because somebody made sure that they get there. And so we cannot just abandon them. So we in Minnesota, we have taken upon ourselves to actually put our hands together to make sure that we are there for them. So the container that we shipped, like you said, it wasn't the first time we've done it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do more. We are planning to ship another container maybe in a few months or whatever. But we are still trying to to get ourselves together and appeal to other people to contribute things and money so we can get more stuff that we can ship. So I am very pleased to have the kind of people that I have in Minnesota to work with, because these are people who don't just wait for me to lead them. They take the initiative to do things.
Yes.
A good leader is not a leader who comes in and does everything. A good leader is one that motivates people to do things. But my job got a little bit easier. What I've realized is my job is a little bit easier because I don't really have to go out and motivate a lot of people in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because this struggle actually started here. If you remember, I've been in the diaspora. I know everything started back home.
Yes.
But in the diaspora, you remember there was a video, I think Sisiku actually said something about that particular video where a few Minnesotans were walking in the snow with a few.
There were not a few though. There were quite a few.
Well, I mean a few. I mean it wasn't.
Well, compared to the rest of the
community. Compared to the magnitude, compared to the number of people who actually went to Washington in protest and.
Oh, compared to the number of people that live in Minnesota.
That live in Minnesota.
Yeah, that was not.
So
that was
comparatively, it was a small group, but you know what I mean. They were dedicated. They were like it was like maybe minus 15.
Yeah, my brothers and sisters, I want to thank you guys for raising this call. We know it's cold in Minnesota, it's cold today, it's snowing. But you guys have come out today because of what is going on in our country. You guys have come out in this cold because you believe that this struggle is what you have to stand up for. I am very proud of you. This is just the beginning. We will be here every day or every time that we can make it. We will plan more meetings like this to tell Minnesota and to tell the world what is happening in Southern Cameroon. The lawyers and the teachers and other trade union organizations in Cameroon have picked up this fight for us. This fight has been going on for a very long time. Now it is a time for us to finish it. You can see most of your placards that you have here. If Mr. Ambe can turn the camera around, you can see those who have been killed. And all of us standing here today is to support these people, to tell them that wherever they are, you did not die in vain. And I hope that the rest of Minnesota, those who could not make it today, they will hear those of you present here today and tell the rest of the world and tell Minnesota and tell the United Nations that it has unfinished business in the Southern Cameroon.
You know, it was really cold.
It was cold. It was a cold
and
day.
They were out there, you know, singing and saying, hey, you know, just trying to remind the world that
home again.
Home again, you know.
Yes,
so
yes.
Minnesota is motivated.
Yeah.
You know, so I as a leader, I don't look at myself as someone who's going to come in and say, hey, go do this, go do that. Because you know what? I inherited the best people on earth. So becoming coordinator doesn't necessarily make me a boss. It makes me somebody who is going to maybe guide. Because most of these people are very young. Some of them haven't been here for a very long time. Some of them are really worried about what is going on. So my role is to say, oh, you know what? What are you going to do about it? If you are so angry that this is happening to our people, what do you want to do about it?
And then they do things.
And then they do things.
Yes.
So it's great. It's great to have people like that to work with.
Yes. Let me ask you, with that container though, like we've all said, it's mostly Minnesota who is putting it together. Have you been thinking about expanding that with other communities, like with Wisconsin or any other community in the United States that can bring their own contributions to it, and then that way, instead of waiting 2-3 months to ship a container, we can ship a container every month?
As a matter of fact, I thought about it the other day, and I think I mentioned it to a few people. One of the things that I'm hoping to do is right now I'm like going online trying to look for a warehouse, because sometimes when people donate things, it's kind of hard to store them.
Yeah, I know the last container was being loaded at somebody's
garage.
Yeah,
you know. So well, the first thing we got to do is get a nice warehouse. And I talked to a few people out of state, like the people that I know, cousins and friends, who were very impressed with what we were trying to do. I will hold no ill towards anyone out of state who tries to take the initiative to do something like that for their own state.
No, well,
but however, you know what I mean. We are already doing it here.
Yes.
So if anybody out of state would want to contribute,
yes,
you know what I mean, it would be a good idea. But I can't say only Minnesota can lead in that effort. I leave it open to other states to do what they can, but we accept other states following our footsteps, maybe helping us shipping stuff here, or maybe sending money so we can maybe buy the stuff.
Yes,
and that will push us. That will help us get to the point where we might actually be able to ship a container a month.
Yes,
that would help a lot.
Well, that container, that one went to Nigeria, because that's where a lot of the refugees are. You know, they also internally displaced people. Is there a way to help people like that?
As a matter of fact, I sent a message to one of my cousins the other day. I think she told me her friend or her sister, I don't really remember the conversation, but she told me somebody she knows has the Ayapor Foundation contact. I am very impressed with what they have been doing back on Ground Zero.
Yes.
So this is my fervent wish, is that I try to, I really want to talk to them and see, because we are here in the diaspora, there's no way we can effect we can really give any kind of help the way they would do it, because they are actually based in Cameroon, and we've actually seen what they have done.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of their work in Nigeria.
Exactly.
I've seen
even on Ground Zero, like the little girl whose eye was shattered.
Yeah.
I heard they actually paid for her flight to go to Austria, I would think. I don't know, I don't remember the specific country.
Okay.
But they did that. For them to do that while in Cameroon, in defiance of the government actually not wanting anybody to help, because I know there are people in Cameroon or on Ground Zero who have actually tried to go to Nigeria to visit our refugees and bring help, but the government didn't want them to go.
Okay.
Why? Because I don't know. I heard about that. I don't know how authentic that is, but that's what I heard. Because I remember.
Well, I'm laughing because because I mean, when you say the government, first of all, like, which government?
No, I mean the government.
If you're talking about the government of La Republique, those are the people who are sending those people.
But this is what I'm trying to say. Our country is still being occupied. There are people. Okay, for instance, somebody said John Fundy, who is an Anglophone, based on their interpretation of it. I know he's an Ambazonian, because if we do get our country, if we push La Republique out of our country, John Fundy is not going to move to La Republique.
No, he's not going to. But I want to just go back to let me
try to go and
let me just go back to what you said about the refugees in Nigeria and the government of La Republique refusing people to go and help. I read this. This is a piece that was written by a Frenchman who was married to a citizen of La Republique, and the story goes that I've forgotten the name of this guy, but the story goes that this woman was in the hospital dying, and they had 2 kids, and I think she told him to take the children and go to France with them. But when I think when the lady passed, this Frenchman refused. Said he wanted to stay in La Republique, and I think he wrote a book, and that's the piece that I read. So this piece that I read came from the book, and in the book he was saying that, and he called the French government French fascist. He said the fascists who took over La Republique du Cameroun, they had a policy which said that they should only hire, or they should only bring dumb people into government, because, and that if they keep only dumb people in the government, after 3 generations, after 3 generations of citizens of La Republique, the culture of dumbness will rule the place. So they were looking for ways to make the place governable for them. They did not want opposition. And so if you came and you were opposing them, or you were too smart, or there were 3 ways that they got rid of you. And that's what the book said. There were 3 ways that they got rid of you. One is they kill you, obviously. One, they put you in jail, but one of them was to send you to exile. So I've been looking at this whole driving of our people into Nigeria as part of the solution for La Republique. They will be happy if they just remain there. You know, Ambazonians go around boasting that they're 8+ million. No, La Republique will want us to be 1 million. So if we have 360 in Nigeria, it's good for them, you know. And it seems to me that if many more die there and don't come back, then it's good. So when you said they're preventing people from going over there, that story
not people, not the refugees, because they are
they're preventing people to go. Like the Aya Foundation and all that.
Yes. John Fundy and all those people. If that's what they claim, I don't know for sure that John Fundy tried to go and they stopped him, but I've heard somewhere that he did. He tried to go there and maybe they stopped him from going there. Okay.
Let me ask you this: why would he want to go and get permission before going there?
I don't know. He's that's just the way they operate. Who knows?
You know, if you look at the people fighting for the liberation of Ambazonia, they're not asking excuse from the colonial master to do that. I hope Frundi realizes that if you're a slave, you don't go and ask your owner, the slave owner, about your freedom. Do you?
Well, no, you don't, because he's never going to give it to you.
Yeah. So
because
why?
You are property and you have no rights.
Yes.
So you just have to take it. You have to take your freedom.
Yes.
I guess when I spoke about that earlier, what I meant was that just to add to what you just said about La République deliberately through the French policies, just getting rid of people and making sure that intelligent people go into exile. That has been their plan for a very long time. If you it's like, when you don't give people opportunities, when you marginalize people for so long, what happens? The only way those people can actually find opportunity is leave the country.
Yes.
So they have created a situation where most of the very industrious people, I'm not saying that the people on ground zero are not, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of people had to leave because they had no opportunities. But guess what? God has a way of working things out. When this struggle, when the teachers came out, the lawyers came out, the university students came out, Mancho BBC came out, La République would have never declared war on Ambazonia if they knew that the diaspora was going to roar in support of their brethren down in Ambazonia. They thought by declaring war on Ambazonia, they were just going to walk in there and crush them, because they would have no support. But to their greatest surprise, every Ambazonian who lives in the diaspora has been, you know what I mean, really engaged in not only morally supporting the people of Ground Zero, but actually helping them take our country back, because most of the diasporans who live here, we are not right there. So the people that the credit goes to are the people on Ground Zero.
Yes.
And I don't think they would have done such a great job if they didn't know we had their back. So that is good. It's good that we have their back, and I want us to continue supporting them morally or otherwise, any way we can. And when they created those refugees, it was a way of diverting the money that would have otherwise go to La République to help fund the struggle, because they knew when they create 50,000 refugees, we will be bent on feeding those refugees, and then we will not have enough resources to actually concentrate on the struggle. So that came to my mind, you know what I mean, that maybe that was a ploy, because can you imagine a senior divisional officer there, as far as they are concerned, of Manu, actually wrote a communique ordering those people out of those villages.
Yes.
Why did they deliberately create a refugee crisis?
Well, let me say this. First, let me say that yes, the diaspora has been great. I think last summer, the diaspora did a marvelous job in Belgium, in South Africa, in the United States, in New York, all over the place. They did an incredible job in mobilizing, and also, you remember, they did it so well that La République had to send all these handpicked ministers to come here, and obviously they were not given a chance. But this is not the first time that the diaspora has done that. You know, the diaspora was very, very instrumental in the creation of SDF.
Absolutely.
The diaspora trumpeted and made noise about the killings that were going on in Bamenda at the time. So the diaspora has always, when we talk about the diaspora, it makes it sound like we are very separate from our people. No, we are very, very connected with our families on the ground, in fact, some of our families on the ground are doing it because of the support that comes from the diaspora. And to be honest with you, it helped the government of La République a lot, because the monies we send home translate into foreign exchange for them.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So the diaspora has really been so we continuing to do the things that the diaspora has done very well. I also, but you see, what the diaspora has done to our families back home is something that the diaspora could have done to La République du Cameroon as a country. You know what I'm saying? But because it's a country and that government is carrying French water or representing the French in that territory, they are not interested in things that make the country grow, because most countries in the world have developed because of their citizens that are outside the country. Mm-hmm. You know, because when we go outside the country, we go to societies that are more advanced than our own societies. Advanced not only socially, they advance economically, they advance technologically. So what we gain here is more than what we learn in class.
Absolutely.
And so most countries have modernized themselves. They have moved forward by, like Ghana. Ghana has had dual citizens for its citizens in the United States. But La République, I'm sure La République has dual citizens for its citizens in France, but
probably,
not the United States.
Not the United States.
Yes. So
not the United States, Canada, Australia, or any other English-speaking country.
No, they don't want that.
They don't want that. Their goal for marginalizing us was to push the majority of us out of the country.
Yes, in fact, there's a story by, and I know that story has been told on this set before. There's a story by Dr. Ngenge that when they were in Cas Bambly, they started making noise. I've forgotten why they were making the noise about, mm-hmm. and they had very, very, very generous scholarships that sent them to the United States very quick. You know, they did not want that noise made. So, but you know, it's only people who are doing bad things that don't want noise made. I mean, if you're a good father or a good leader and you're doing the right things for your people, when some are complaining, I think you want to listen to why they're complaining and see whether there's something you can
do.
Then to help.
But you see, let me say something.
Yes.
You have to understand that the French system, we are different.
Yes.
In our way of thinking, our entire orientation is quite different.
Yes, from the French.
You know, with the French, because the French actually transferred their way of thinking, their way of jurisprudence to their French-speaking colonies.
Yes.
So, in the Anglo-Saxon tradition, your rights come from God.
Yes.
In the French system, it's a civil system where the government actually gives you your rights. I remember you mentioning that one time on one of your previous episodes, and that is true. That is why there's a conflict, and that is why it's been so difficult for the Republic to totally assimilate us. They have done it all. They have crippled our economic system. They crippled our educational system. They marginalized us. They refuse to give you jobs. You have to become their slaves to do anything, to get anything from them. But why are we still strong today? It's because those values that we hold dear, nothing in the world can ever take it from us. Because there is nothing more beautiful than the right to live, the right to aspire to greatness. Everybody
the right to think and
act free.
Yes.
The right to associate. The right to say no to a government that treats you like you are nothing.
Yes.
Because I think the power of government should come from the people.
Yes.
But with the French system, it's not. It's so that the people, the power, the real rights that people have, the government has to give it to them.
Yeah, which is
different from the way we think.
Yes, so. and it's wrong because government doesn't create anything. When only human beings, individuals, create things.
Exactly.
And so if you free your society, you're freeing the agents of change, the agents of creation, the agents of growth. You know what I'm saying? So society, and that's why if you look around the world, right, all the countries that are highly developed are countries that have very liberal democracies.
Let's not even go beyond Africa.
Yes.
Look at African countries that were colonized by the English. Look at Nigeria.
Yes, they're doing better.
Look at Uganda.
And this is not a word. I mean, those are statistics.
Those are statistics. It's right there. Everybody can go look at it.
Yes, they're doing better than Francophone countries. But I want to add something to that. Because when people say they're doing better than Francophone countries, people don't understand what that really means. What it means is that if you go in there and you measure the index of the economic development or just the human development, it's better, but it's even worse because see, the people in Francophone countries would have to decolonize themselves first before they start growing to start even thinking of being where some of these Anglophone countries are. You know what I'm saying? Because for La République du Cameroon to one day be like Ghana, where they own their own, where they own their economy, they own their government, they own everything, because La République will have to decolonize.
Absolutely.
They'll have to decolonize. Because to get some... See, before Paul Biya came and reigned for 35 plus years now, Ahidjo was there from 1960 to 1982.
About 23 years.
Yes.
So both of them have ruled that country for over 60 years.
Two of them.
Two people.
Yes, and they're doing that because they're serving another master who controls everything.
And
he controls the army. He controls everything. So by the time La République can weed out these French who have become part of their DNA and then own their country, because when they do, you know, they're gonna go down. Because there will be some destabilization, and then because remember that before Nigeria and Ghana are where they are now in their democracy, they had some dictators who ruled for a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So that was their square one development, and then they've already passed gone through that phase, and now they have established their democracies, and I don't think they'll ever go back to military.
Never ever. And let me add one thing: if you look at the two systems, you know. When Paul Biya leaves his country and is traveling overseas, when he goes to the airport, who sees him off? You will have the president of the Supreme Court there. You have the president of the Senate. You have the president of the House of Assembly. You have the prime minister. Everyone. Let me ask you something. What if it was a democracy?
If it was a democracy, the head of the judiciary will not be there.
Will not be there.
Yes. The head of the parliament will not be there. The head of the legislature will not be there.
Even if it's not a democracy, they are not supposed to be there. You know why? You know why I say that? You know why I say that? It's because when the president in a democratic country appoints a chief justice of that country, you know what I mean? That it doesn't necessarily mean that person serves the president. So even if that chief justice is of the same party with that president, he is not supposed to be at the airport. He's supposed to portray the semblance of neutrality.
No, okay. In the United States here, right? The president the president nominates who goes to the Supreme Court, and then he goes through, and then that person goes through the judiciary that clears him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a process it's just a process of getting people into that branch of government. But once he gets into his job, he's independent.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes, and he's guaranteed to be independent. Not just and the instruments that make him independent. One, his job is for life. Secondly, I mean, they're all instruments that make him. He doesn't report to the administration. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's just a means. But in La République, no. Paul Biya, look, La République is a one-man country.
La République is a monarchy. Let me just put it that way.
Yes.
The reason why I say that is because it pretends to be a republic.
Yes.
La République. Biya, you will never become the president of the National Assembly without Biya's approval.
No.
You will never become the president of the Senate without Biya's approral.
No.
You will never become
Actually, the Senate is. But look, let's never.
They are supposed to.
That is.
I'm just trying to tell you
the
how.
The legislation in Cameroon is just by name. So,
it's by name.
So let's not even be talking about that. Yes, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about because I really look. I have been very, very, very impressed with the way the diaspora has responded
Well, absolutely.
to the struggle. But I've always had this idea that, you know, the diaspora can actually do more, especially the American diaspora.
Yeah.
Because the South African diaspora is, I mean, they're very productive. You know what I'm saying? Even in contributions. The European diaspora used to also do very well. But I think the American diaspora has not been managed. I'm not sure how to, but I'm just thinking that the diaspora is not maximizing its potential. Do you think that?
I think it is not, but one of the reasons is because we have this tension between South Africa and America.
You think so?
Oh yes, there is. You know, remember when Sisiku was president, right?
Mm-hmm.
The leadership was controlled from South Africa and Nigeria. After Sisiku got adopted or arrested or whatever, however you want to look at it,
He got adopted.
he got adopted because
He was kidnapped.
You know, he was kidnapped. So let's put
yes.
it that way.
Yes.
And Sako became, the new interim president. Milton Taka became the vice president. But ever since these two assumed their respective offices, have you ever seen them on a show together?
Well, but let me say this though.
You know, that's what I'm trying to say. I think the reason why the diaspora is really not as productive when it comes in terms of our struggle as it should have, as it could have been, is because I think there's a lot of rift. However, our hearts are still
in the right place.
In the right place.
Yes.
So.
See, though, I do not think they even were meeting their potential when Sisiko was there. Sisiko was trying to really bring things together, but I think that the diaspora, especially in America, for some reason is not organized properly. Let me tell you why. Maybe because I'm thinking about the days of SDF and now. Because during the SDF time, there was one person at Bojong. He was in Atlanta. He was made the chairman of Minnesota, of the United States. And what Bojong did was that he went to every state and created an executive in every major city where there were a lot of Cameroonians at the time. And then whenever there was an issue, all he needed to do was get the executives, and they all worked together to contribute money. So it was better organized. But with the revolution taking place on the ground, I think when things heated up on the ground, people, they did not have one representative representing the ground in the United States. And so you had groups that some of them had gone dead. They all woke up and started, trying to pound the pavement. And then people sent them money, and then found out that money was not really going, because everybody wanted the money to go down to the territory. So the money ended up with Morris. It ended up with AGC. It ended up with all kinds of people, and then you know what I'm saying. So that's more. So I think we are fractured. I think I know what you talk about, South Africa and the United States, but that doesn't. Okay, let me. That doesn't answer the whole thing about.
Okay, based on what you just said, this is the way I look at it, and I have a whole. My thinking is not too far from yours. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes, we actually do better when we are diverse.
Yes.
The one thing I have noticed in this struggle is that people are so afraid of something else, something new popping up, because they are so comfortable. Okay, those who are so comfortable with the IG, they don't want anything coming up. Those who are so comfortable with the AG, those who support the agency, they don't want to hear about anybody else. They just want to leave it as it is. But what I'm trying to say, this is what I'm trying to get to a point. This is how I look at Amba-Struggle. Amba-Struggle is one big, humongous pot of soup that has all the particulars, like we used to say when we were in secondary school. Kanda is in there, beef, goat meat, mukanjo, everything is so delicious. But we have foreigners for 56 years dipping their hand in there and stealing and taking. We couldn't get into it. So with me, I don't care how many groups come up. Everybody should just sour the soup. And that is what we've been doing. The people on Ground Zero have been souring that soup, and that's why La Republic is panicking. That soup is just gonna keep getting soured. And the more people that who can actually sour that soup, okay, for instance, look at this.
Yes, I was going to come to that. That's a Minnesota idea. Let's tell us about that.
This is something that originated from here. This is a toilet paper that have Cheruma, Bia, and Atanganji's effigy, and
read what
it says, "Isa Cheruma, eat shit. That's all you're good for."
Yes.
Paul Bia, eat shit. That's all you're good for. Atanganji, eat shit. That's all you're good for. The thing is, the concept is really great because when you use this to clean yourself after you go to the bathroom, it kind of gives you a feeling of flushing these dictators and this dictator and his henchmen down the drain. And the more you flush it, the more, some kind of wishful thinking, you have a feeling like, oh, you finally flush them away. So we got this. If you go like to www.ambazoniafreedom.com, you can pick up 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or 100 and use it. You know what I mean? This is a vintage toilet paper, and it's great to have.
Yes.
It's something that is a good initiative.
Yes.
Please, Ambazonians, go check it out. I'm sure you're gonna like it.
Yes. Let me ask you this: since it's a thing that you flush, how many times do you think you need to flush this to flush these people that you have on there?
We have to keep flushing them till we are back in our country.
Well, thank you.
From now on, let everybody go in there and get their toilet paper and use it exclusively in their homes. That way, we can keep flushing them out.
I think
it's a psychological thing.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible idea.
So it's first of all, it's humiliating. You know, it's humiliating because to get the toilet paper with the picture of the president and say eat shit. That's all you're good for?
Well, whoever wants to keep him as a president.
Exactly.
Nobody should have a president.
He's the president of La Republic.
Nobody should have a president for 35 years.
Whatever.
Because what you do is no one. If after 5 or 10 years you don't bring the good thing that can benefit the country, then then it's not going to come after 35 years.
Like you said before, he is the president of La Republique du Cameroon, but he is a French stooge. The French wanted him there because he did a great job stealing the resources to give it to them.
Yes,
to give to them.
Yes, so. I think that almost every Ambazonian knows the story. Now, let me ask you more about that. This looks like how did this idea come about?
Well, an idea has to come from somebody. It came from me, but no, I look at it like this is a Minnesota initiative.
No, what I'm asking is what need was there to fulfill? Because
they need to fulfill what we wanted to. The message we were trying to send is that we are sick and tired of being marginalized. We want them out of Ambazonia. That is it. And so when Minnesota came up with this, it was a way of sending a message to Popia that you have been flushed.
Yes, but I remember. Let me say this. I think with this also it helps with the fundraising, because all the fundraising has really been coming from people's pockets.
Exactly, and people are getting
because let me say this. Okay, for example, if I were to buy some of this and I'm going to buy some, it would save me money especially if it's going to help me give you the money, and they don't come back to me later to raise money. Because if I give you the money now and buy my toilet tissue, right? You already been meeting your budget, and therefore the amount that I'm going to contribute out of my pocket to give you is going to be less. I'm hoping that's what it does.
That's what it does. Okay, for instance, last a few weeks, maybe about a week and a half ago, we shipped a container back to Nigeria.
Yes.
After we loaded the container, we had a fundraiser. We raised a little bit of money on that for SCAR. We have a non-profit here.
Yeah, we raised quite enough money
to ship the container. Yes. And we're actually working with a very renowned non-profit organization down there who is actually going to receive this stuff and manage it well, so it gets to our refugees.
Yes.
But just imagine that if this like the people went out and actually bought this, it will help get more containers down there. It will help do more things.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean. And not only the people in Nigeria, we have internally displaced people. We could work with the Aya Foundation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to help.
Yes,
and why not? Wherever we think, if we have enough, we can help anybody who is doing anything on ground zero. Let me put it that way. That's the way I look at. That's the way I look at it.
Yes, personally, let me say how I look at that more. I see it more as a different source of revenue for the struggle, in a way that it can ease the financial burden on Ambazonians who contribute.
Absolutely, because people have been contributing for a very long time.
Yes,
and you know very well that even though we've come so far, we've done a lot. We have actually. I really feel sometimes when I think about our boys down there, I feel so proud. I am so proud of the job they are doing, because you know very well that these people didn't just wake up one morning and say we're going to fight La Republic. No,
that's
the thing is, La Republic abused them. Their methods was like brutal. They burnt villages. They did a lot of things that kind of like triggered what is going on down there. And the people are very determined to take their country back. When I'm saying the people down there, is because we in the diaspora are not the ones fighting down there.
No,
we just have to support them.
Yes.
And I ask every Ambazonian to make an effort. You know what I mean? I know that some people will say, "Oh my God, I've been contributing for a long time," but you know what? We just have to keep doing it.
No,
and this helps in the sense that at least you feel like you are buying something, you are getting something, and when you use it, it gives you the satisfaction.
I'm going to come again to me. It's shooting two birds with one stone. Because it gives me a toilet tissue and then contributes to the struggle.
Contributes to the struggle.
Yes,
absolutely. You know what I mean? And not only a toilet tissue, but it gives you the satisfaction
of flushing these people,
of wiping yourself with the face of the person who has been killing our people and raping our women.
Not only that, these people call us shit. Chiroma said there's no Anglophone problem. This one say Atanganji says there's no Anglophone problem, and Paul Biya
declared war.
No, Paul Biya is the one who wants to make Ambazonian slaves, and he
exactly.
When in 1984 he comes and says, "Oh, we're going back to La République du Cameroon, no United Republic crap." You know what I'm saying? Basically, he's saying that we don't exist, or if we exist, we're not important, we're insignificant. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, everybody treats us like shit.
It's very annoying. It's been
so the leadership starts by treating us like shit, and then their ministers come and call us Biafrans and then the ministers, and then the ministers who are supposed to serve say, when one of our people complain, they say, "Oh, so what are you going to do?"
Qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? Let me speak the occupiers' language. That's the question that they asked. Was it Weber?
Yes.
They asked, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? I
think you should make one and put that particular minister who said that if you put his face
more is coming. More is going to be coming. This is just 3 faces. More is going to be coming.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know what I mean? The Amazonian people should really support this initiative. Just go to www.ambazoniafreedom.com. Get your stuff, and
because this contributes to the freedom.
It does, and if we can do something like that and contribute, because people are getting, when you contribute every day, it's good, but sometimes some people, contribution is lagging a little bit.
Yes,
and we do our part here in Minnesota. Most of the time we'll have a meeting. So, okay, what can we do? Let's contribute to $200, $500, and we buy stuff and we keep. But now we want to take it to a different level.
Yes. And that's where I'm coming. That this takes it to a different level and a higher level.
That's yours.
Thank you. No, I'm going to actually get. I'm actually get a few more.
Absolutely.
And even give some out. I think somebody will be interested in giving.
And people.
I think somebody will be very interested that you wrap it and give it to them when they open that and they see.
People in other states. Let's say if they want to have let's say if they want to have a barbecue, they can always. In advance, though, you have to order in advance for bulk. People can order it in advance to us, and
So Minnesota can actually have bulk rates.
Oh yeah, we can have actually make.
So that orders,
if somebody orders about 500, you know what I mean? We just make it and send it to them, and then they can sell it in their barbecue and raise money too. So this is something that can really.
So there's a wholesale price.
There is. If I have to go back to the site and really see. I know there is. There's something we can work. I think there's something we can do for a wholesale price. Because I just want to encourage people. Okay, for instance, we have. Let's say if a specific state has some fundraiser coming out, some fundraising barbecue coming up in about a month, they can actually order, let's say 300. You know what I mean? And they would. It's their business how much they want to sell it for.
Okay. No, as long I think
as long as we can we're just gonna charge them the production price. You know what I mean? And you know, and then they can maybe add something on that price and sell it and make extra.
Yeah, I mean, when you buy something like, especially because it's a fundraising thing, you're not buying.
It is vintage. You actually have to buy the toilet paper and then print on it.
No, what I'm saying is
that a lot of work.
What I'm saying is that. When somebody's spending money on something like that, especially that goes for the cause, you're not just buying a toilet tissue. You actually you're supporting the cause.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, and I'm just.
So Minnesota comes up with very, very great ideas. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, yes, we're doing good. We're doing good. I've been very happy being part of the community.
Oh, absolutely! It's a great community, and
it's a very diverse community, and I think they usually do the right thing.
And you see, one other thing I wanted to say is that if you, I don't know if you've noticed, you know what I mean, the deliberate effort to stifle personal initiative. In a revolution, sometimes, some point say, let's put everything together and put it in one pot. But I just made this analogy. Our country is like a big pot of soup. People have been dipping their hands in there and stealing all the meat, and we have been left to live in squalor. So it is time for us to sour that soup. One person cannot sour the soup. So if there is an Ambazonia out there who has an initiative that he believes will push this struggle forward, I don't think any organization should try to block that person.
Yeah, but
that's the way I look at it.
But they shouldn't allow themselves to be blocked, though. I mean, who?
You know, what I'm trying to say is, you know what? I think we all have one goal. One goal.
Yes.
We know what our destination is. Where we want to be. We want to be in Boya, right? If you don't want to support somebody, let him be. Support whoever you want to support. Just like I was watching a show the other day, I think it was Mark Barrett or something. He said something. I don't watch his show very much, but he said something very interesting. He said, you know what, if you don't want to contribute to group A or person B or person C, contribute to person D. That's what I'm talking about, souring the soup. Make it impossible for these people for that soup to remain palatable.
Well, but let me say this though. The wish of our people is for us coming together so that we can form a very strong team and take these people, because we also don't want to fragment our efforts so that we can't quite so that one doesn't have enough push to, because we need to flush out these people. Well, when we talk of flushing, right? When we talk of flushing, right?
Yes.
You have to gather. There's a whole technology that comes before you can flush that toilet and it goes.
We have to be very true. We have to be true to ourselves. Sometimes we take positions of wishful thinking and we think it could be applied. The fact in the matter is, it is very, very clear that we need to come together. But how do we do it? Do we do it in diversity? Do we do it where everybody comes together as a revolutionary council, but every group has its own way of doing things, they raise their own money? Or does everybody give money to one group? Or how do we do it?
Yeah, so that is still it's still debatable.
It's still debatable, and I'm sure something is being worked out. But for me, my primary focus is Minnesota.
Yes, no.
And I'm sure the people who are fighting for attention. I don't know if it's for fundraising purposes or it's for power purposes or whatever. I believe they can.
Let me see what you're saying. I think if you're supporting a group and maybe that group is not functioning as well as you want it to function, you're trying to create options.
Exactly.
You're trying to create options.
Exactly.
I agree with you, because look at like the initiative to ship things directly to the refugees. I think things were just being slow for us, and we decided that let's do it, and we're doing it, and it's working. It's working.
We didn't have to wait for a specific organization to give us the authority to do it. I guess what I'm trying to say. Let me say this. The way I look at it is this struggle generally. You can be a member of this particular organization, but you wake up one morning and this organization is doing something that is really good. Please support him.
Yes.
That's the way we will succeed.
Yes.
If somebody is a member of a particular group or organization, they are not obligated to support what this other group does. But if they see something that they do or they are doing,
especially if that aligns with what they want to see happen.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm here in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
If tomorrow I heard that somebody in Nebraska or somebody in Washington D.C. or somebody in Maryland is doing something that I know is going to benefit the struggle,
you'll be for it.
I will help them.
Yes. No,
we should have that because this is not like personal advantage.
As you're saying, I'm thinking because a few weeks ago Minnesota went down and supported Wisconsin in their fundraising. And you actually saw that the senator who came to that event went into Senate, and things changed.
His name is on the bill.
Yeah, his name is on the bill.
Yeah.
So
and on the 23rd, Wisconsin is also having
a
fundraiser over there,
and we'll be there again.
I'm planning to lead a delegation from Minnesota to go there to support them.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh my God, that's Wisconsin's problem." Just that same thing I said about our effort to ship containers to the refugees. It is something that we are doing here. Yes. I'm not going to stop any other state from doing it. As a matter of fact, I encourage it as long as it's organized and the people who are doing it actually know how to do it or how it really gets to the refugees.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to ship something.
Yes.
It's another thing to actually make sure that it gets to them.
And because we've done it so many times, we found systems and partners down there who get it there, and we can verify what we do.
Exactly. So if somebody lives in any state in the United States and decides, so you know what, these people in Minnesota really did a great job, I have this thing that I can ship to them that they can put in that container. Ship it.
And you know what?
And we'll put it there. Let me say
this. As we're talking, I'm just thinking, if Nebraska, for example, or Illinois or Wisconsin, if they have things to ship, they can rent a U-Haul truck for $200, even less than $200.
Yeah.
Bring it here and go back the same day. To be honest, it's less than $200.
But they are really close.
Yes, they're close.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
They can partner. They can partner with FOSCA, with us.
Yes.
And FOSCA is the non-profit organization that deals with all the container issue.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm the coordinator, but that's one thing I was trying to say just a few minutes ago about personal initiative because just because I'm not a member of FOSCA, do you know that?
Yes.
I haven't registered for FOSCA. But I'm the coordinator. So these great women, and maybe one or two guys who are also involved in it, they came up and created this non-profit. But I saw what they did. But I came and I supported them.
Yes.
I helped them load the container.
Yes.
I made a very great video that supports them.
Yes.
And I'm going to continue doing it.
Yes.
Because my goal is to make every Minnesotan a champion of personal initiative.
Yes.
Take a stand. Do something.
Yes.
Stop writing nonsense on or let me just say this. Stop writing nonsense on gossip forums.
Yes.
Take something. One person can make a difference.
Yes.
All of us in our collectivity, we can do something big. But you know what? If we take personal initiatives to do one or two things, it's all going to add up and it's going to benefit our struggle. So FOSCA came up with what they are doing and I'm supporting them.
Yes.
If another Minnesotan was to come and say, oh, you know something, Eric, I think we can do this, it's going to help our struggle, or why not?
Yes.
I don't have any power. We encourage them to do it.
But the other thing that I want you to also say is, for how long is this going to be done then? How long are we going to be doing this thing?
The refugee thing?
Yes.
Let me say this. This is what is in the back of my head. I am planning to come up with an initiative where something different from FOSCA or something. You know what I mean?
Let me add something else to the question. Because that question indirectly says, how long would the struggle last?
Exactly.
Because as long as that struggle goes on, I mean,
we're going to continue. And that's why I wanted to answer that question with something that I have already thought about.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, right now, something that I'm thinking about right now is rehabilitation, people empowerment. That is my initiative. Fosca is doing its job for the refugees. I'm trying to come up with something for people empowerment. We have refugees in Nigeria. They are refugees, but they can also apply for work authorization or maybe an authorization to do some kind of business. So my thing is, if I can help in any way to raise the necessary funds, I can put together a team to go down and say, hey, you know what, before your house was burned in Kwakwa, wherever it was burned, what did you used to do for a living? I used to be a carpenter. We rehabilitate him. We say, okay, this is what we're going to do.
Yes.
Go to a place, rent this place, give him some money, we'll buy some tools and give it to him.
Yes.
Buy some wood, give it to him, start making your chair and sell it. We have rehabilitation.
Or just open your shop and people come and hire you to buy.
Because we cannot, what if this struggle takes longer than we expect?
Yes.
Well, we all wish that that we are back in Goya very soon.
Yes.
But what if it doesn't? So while my girls, I'll call them my girls because they are my family, while they are doing the refugee thing with Fosca and everything, that is this initiative that I'm talking about is something that I want to really engage. I want to really try to raise that money.
Okay.
You know, and start rehabilitating, start like injecting our refugees into the Nigerian society, because I would rather
giving them some independence.
And one other thing, this is one of the contract, the non-written contract that I'm going to have with them. I said, look, let me tell you something. Your house, your property was destroyed, your lives was destroyed, but you know what? Now we have a little bit of money. We can restructure your life here, you can live, so that when we get our country back, you wouldn't be so dependent on the government to rebuild your house. You would have saved enough money to come to Amba-Struggle and rebuild your house, open a business or something. So our goal, so that is something that I've been thinking about, and it's something that I'm going to put a lot of effort.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it's honorable.
Yes.
A refugee is someone who has nothing. We don't want to keep them in charity forever.
I was going to say that basically what you're trying to do is you're saying that we are going to give a fish to the refugees, but we also want to teach them how to fish.
How to fish. Yes. That's what I'm saying. So this organization that I'm talking about is going to be People Empowerment Foundation. It's going to be a non-profit organization. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to go to Jewish communities. I'm going to go to whoever I can talk to. It's not going to be something that only Ambazonians will be in. I want to bring in every community in the United States, pastors and everything, and talk to them about it. So if it can work, we can generate some money and we can start rehabilitating our refugees.
Yeah, you just...
because if we do that, what's going to happen? Now we are supporting Ground Zero, right? What do you think they're going to do if we rehabilitate them?
No, they would first of all be self-sustaining and then start supporting. Because I remember in your last production when we had an interview, which is why I decided that we need to move your interview further up. You said that we are also refugees, but we are refugees that can help.
Privileged refugees.
I
am a refugee in the sense that I left Cameroon, you left Cameroon when we were still we still thought of ourselves as Cameroonians. That's why I say that.
Yes.
We have to make that distinction because it is over now.
Yes.
The majority of us came to this country because of
we came to acquire information and go back.
Most of us came to go back. But we knew that if we go back, where are we going to get the job?
No.
Okay, so we stayed here. So we are refugees. But like I said in and
nobody's really encouraging you to come back anyways. They're telling
you what?
Yeah, nobody's encouraging. In fact, they like you to stay out.
Let me ask you something. If you go to any Amba-Struggle who lives in the diaspora, he is of tremendous help to his family back home.
Yes.
Money comes from here for medication, for food and everything. So why would you want to have somebody who has the power to do what they do for their family, to go back to that place and
become independent?
You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is this idea of empowering refugees is going to be great. And I still repeat, like I repeated in the previous video, everyone in the diaspora is a refugee. The only difference between us and them is that we are refugees with privileges.
Yes.
They are refugees that are not privileged. So this foundation that I'm talking about if God gives me the strength to actually succeed in what I'm trying to get the people of Minnesota to do, I will. I think it will be a great thing for our struggle, because we would know that at least we are rehabilitating and establishing little businesses and stuff for our refugees so they can fend for themselves.
Yes.
We cannot continuously for the next, let's say if we don't, I don't want to get Ambazonians mad, because when I say what if the struggle goes for 10 or 50 more years, it makes people really...
No, but but let me say this though. I think we should be prepared for that.
We should be. That's why I say let's prepare ourselves. So that will be my mission, and I hope it works.
Let me say something here. I think this frightens the enemy, because we are not. To be honest, this struggle is mostly supported by change in our pocket.
Exactly.
I haven't seen anybody bankrupt themselves or do something that is strenuous on them in order to support the struggle. And so far, it's been going. The support has been significant. You know what I'm saying? And what I like about that is that it's a thing that's sustainable for a very long time.
Exactly.
And I think that since we've decided that we are going to solve this problem, we are going to solve it. I don't think there's any question whether we'll ever go back to be the slaves of Laropoli like we were before. Now, the only other thing that there's a question I was going to ask you, which I think your whole thing about rehabilitation and foundation took away is, I was going to say that we've been sending clothes and food and things like that, and I was thinking that maybe we should send money to them, so that instead of waiting for the Aya Foundation to come in with their food truck and then they're fighting on like we saw on the video, we can just send them money and they have their money in their pocket, and then they can decide that I'll go buy my own bag of rice or my own cocoa basket, or as
a matter of fact, yeah, we can do that. We can send both. We can send.
And so, let me just finish my question. And so, what that does then, we should be soliciting not only for goods to send home, but also for cash.
But yes, that's what we do. We even right now, even within Minnesota, amongst ourselves.
Okay. Yeah.
The stuff that we sent are stuff that people donated, but people also gave a little bit of cash.
Yes.
And we bought some of the stuff like rice.
Yes.
People don't donate rice. People don't donate cooking oil. People don't donate a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So, if you want,
I want us to get to a level where, and hopefully with this other project this project, I think it's a great project. Yeah. I think from there we can actually now start saying, hey, here's some cash. We're going to start injecting.
Let
every refugee have 200. 200 down there can be a lot of money.
Let me say this. We have a lot of organizations. They tell us they do things, but we don't know.
Just hold a second there. Do you know? It's just coming through my mind. I don't want to lose it. Do you know that by sending a refugee $200, they can actually decide that they're going to go buy something somewhere and then sell it. And because some refugees may also have cash that we send to them, you see a whole economy.
The containers that we send, that's why the container that we send,
yes, they will
focuses more on the mothers and the little ones.
Yes,
most of the clothes are for little girls, little boys, and the mothers and elderly people. When I'm talking about rehabilitation, I'm not going to go rehabilitate some guy who is 80 years old or some grandma who is 70 years old, because he's supposed to be retired, but he has family right there that is supposed to maybe help take care of.
Yes.
But the younger men and the young girls and the young guys who find themselves in Nigeria as refugees, those are the people that I want to rehabilitate. We want to rehabilitate. Those are the people that we have to focus on.
Yes.
We cannot continuously shipping container. We will still do it. We are still going to do it. But while we're doing it, if we can rehabilitate the people, with the able-bodied people, to get jobs or maybe open businesses or something. You know very well, to open a business in Nigeria doesn't require a lot of money, just like you said.
Yes.
If you send somebody $400,
they can.
That's 200,000 francs. And then I don't know how much it's gonna be in naira. If somebody lived in Ambazonia and he used to do buy and sell, that's what he likes to do.
Yes.
Why can't he do it in Nigeria?
Yes. Or they can make their fourth and start frying
exactly.
their
So it rehabilitates them.
Yes.
That would unburden us. Then we can now focus on the internally displaced through the Aya Foundation. I am already trying to contact them. So if what we are trying to do works, that is exactly what I'm going to be doing.
Yes.
I'm going to initiate and actually prosecute that humanitarian effort to help the people who are displaced internally.
Okay, I have a few other questions for you. Not everybody in Minnesota is participating in all these programs. What do you tell people like that? How do you get them in?
Like I made my previous video, the one that you did when we loaded the container, I said nobody in the diaspora should ever think they are better than the refugees, because we are all refugees with privileges. And the reason why we try to do everything we can to extend our hands to those refugees in Nigeria and the internally displaced people, one is because they are refugees that are not privileged like us. Second of all, it is not by their making. The majority of people who are in those refugee camps are women, children, elderly. What did they do to Bisabia? That's what I'm asking you. Is it of their making? Did they wake up one day and say, we're going to oppose the government, so come say? No, they didn't do anything.
Well, let me say this. I think they ended up being refugees because La Republique took military tactics that are for enemies and apply it on a situation that should have been a police thing. The
thing is, they have never considered us their people.
Yes. So
you think they would do what they think that they are doing to us right now?
Because and somebody was enlightening me about this, because I've been asking questions. Why would you go and burn a whole village because some people there are agitating? I mean, I don't want to even use the word agitate.
They claim
because these people are
let's say it as it is. They claim that 2 gendarmes were killed. You come and burn the entire villages. Let me ask you something. If you have a military that runs around like girls in skirts, can't find Amba boys and Amba girls, those are the people fighting you.
Yes.
If you are trained.
Because really, what they could have done, they could have, I've read a lot about the Southern Cameroon. In those days, we used to have what they call CID. And so what you do is you send a CID there, and he goes and gradually investigate and find out these people. And when you find them, then you find out what their problems are. Then it's a police case. This thing started. It first of all started as a question that citizens wanted, became the whole thing was just totally mismanaged, and we don't want to live under people who can be so, I don't even have the word,
brutal.
But brutal. People can be brutal but smart, because I don't think they went out to draw this attention. Because La Republique, if you notice, one of the reasons why it took them such a long time to react to what Ambazonians was doing was because they know they stole Ambazonia, and they were looking for a way to control the story from going out.
I think you are the one who said, I don't know if you said it on one of your shows or you said it to me personally, but you said the reason why La Republique has been so reluctant to engage in any kind of dialogue or negotiations is because he knows he's going to lose.
Yes.
So what is he trying to do? He's trying to beat you and enslave you.
Yes.
But let me say this for 1 second. This fight that we are in right now, it didn't just come by mistake. They actually wanted it. You know why? They knew that they couldn't beat us in court. They know they can't beat us on the negotiating table because we have all the facts on our side. You know what I mean? So what did they say to themselves? Let me say it in French, like somebody said, on va les mater, il faut qu'on les mate. Let's just beat them down to submission. But like I said, when they started shooting people on October 1st, they did not know these people had lions overseas who are gonna roar. And we did. We roared.
But why the lions were in? No. The lions that they were shooting.
But
right?
the lions, they were shooting the lions.
They were shooting the lions.
But the ones down here, they couldn't reach us. And now, what are we doing? We have the back of the lions down there. That's what the problem is. And now those lions down there are teaching them a lesson.
No, there are people who are acting like I told you, that the French went to pick the most stupid people to rule, and their hope was that in 3 generations the place will be ruled by stupidity. They forgot that the citizens and the God who is in every citizen, because the yearn of man is really the yearn of God. You know what I'm saying? God did not create. Every human expression is there as part of creation. You know what I'm saying? And so when you know the Bible, and I'm not a big quoter of Bible, the Bible says, "Go ye therefore and multiply." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so humans were created to go and multiply. And anybody who tries to stem down that multiplication know that they're trying to stem a force that is in them put there by God, and they will fail. They will fail. And so when they thought, who come and shoot some of them, intimidate them? No, Ambazonians have taken it to a point where their walls were behind. They were right on the wall right now. The lawyers were, look, when the lawyers, let me tell you what we mean by their backs are on the wall. When the lawyers come and say, you know what, don't come and destroy my workplace like that. That is where they get their bread. That's where they get their bread to now take care of themselves, their family, and society. When you come and make where they spend 8 hours a day become a place where they deal with languages they don't care for, laws they don't care for, and they bring one complication after another, because these people's goal was to. You hear Paul Biya when he sets his commission of bilingualism and multiculturalism. Paul Biya is saying that I don't think the problem you have is the problem you're telling me. I think your problem is that you're not francophone enough and you're not behaving like a francophone enough. So we're going to get you to be that, and hopefully
that's exactly what it is.
And hopefully you stop being this free man who
if
thinks
you are
that,
complaining that you are being marginalized, become a francophone.
Yeah, become a francophone. Then you will not feel that way.
Let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. In Cameroon right now, Cameroon, I mean that country.
Yes.
When we were all together, right before Ambazonia declared their independence or restored their independence, right? Mm-hmm. Between Anglophones and Francophones, who spoke the other's language more?
No, Anglophones were more bilingual.
You have 70% of Anglophones speaking French, and you have maybe about 25% of Francophones speaking English. But you have more bilingual schools. And they
speak that at their will. Because if they chose not to, then they turn to French. If you don't hear them, go away. They have the power anyway.
Exactly. So when this all started, it was like a slap in the face to most Anglophones when the president of Cameroon came with the Bilingualism Commission.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. First of all, it's a cosmetic solution to a real problem. People cannot come out and in droves and protest about marginalization. The teachers came out and talked about their conditions, about the government sending francophone teachers to teach children in languages in a language that they don't understand or they don't have an aptitude for. And then the lawyers came out and said, you know what, this is an encroachment into our legal system. You should understand that the Southern Cameroon still practice common law. Then the students came out in support of their teachers and they just battered them.
Yeah,
and treated them
and wrapped them in sewer
and stuff like that. So,
and if you were a student in your dorm, they can't break the door and open and take you and wrap you in sewer.
If you look at the way they treat, even up to now, the way they are rounding up people, beating them, cutting their heads off, trashing them with machetes and stuff like that, I really ask myself, when they say Cameroon is one and indivisible, do they really think that when you treat a people who were once sovereign, because when the Germans came into our territory uninvited and they were defeated in the First World War, the League of Nations took that territory and gave it to Britain and said, you know what, manage this territory and prepare these people for independence. So we are sovereign people.
No, we are.
So when you treat a sovereign people who deliberately and willfully came into a union with you, even though there was no union treaty.
Yeah, we affected a union.
We affected a union, even though there was no union treaty. When you treat them like the way they treat us, why would you say they want you? It's not us that they want. They want the resources.
Yeah, no, Paul Biya.
And that is why the people have decided, the people on ground zero, because look, I talk about the diaspora all the time, and one time you kind of chastised me a little bit. Mm-hmm. Why are you talking about it? The reason why I talk about the diaspora is because when the boys down there are fighting, you know what I mean, they are fighting for you and me and for themselves.
Yes.
So the least we can do is give them that support.
So anybody who is not supporting should know that they're not supporting themselves.
And to support doesn't mean I'm not asking anybody to go and buy weapons or bombs and send down there. Those boys, I don't know how they get their stuff.
But
at least support people who are like the Ayapor Foundation. We're trying to do things here. The refugees, do your part. Contribute to whichever group you want to contribute to help, because every group in this revolution, has its function. Some of them might be nefarious. I don't know. I'm not going to call any names, but what I'm trying to say is, if you identify a group and you realize that this group is not going to, you make good use of my money on ground zero, don't contribute to them.
No, I agree.
You have to show some kind of like we shipped a container, and we have records that we have been shipping containers, and we're gonna ship more.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we in Minnesota, we're just gonna keep doing what we can. But what we're saying is, if anybody out there is listening and they want to partner with us, with Foscar, to actually make this a bigger endeavor, then we will appreciate it.
And it will go in all of our names.
It will go in all of our names. We're gonna have reports sent to you and say, hey, your contribution affected this change on ground zero. Then this other thing, this other initiative that I'm hatching right now, is gonna be completely different from the refugee project.
No, it's a good initiative, and let us know when you get things.
Absolutely.
Ready, so that people want to support that.
Absolutely,
I think it's a good. Like I said, it's a thing where you don't just teach people. You don't just give people fish. You teach them how to fish. But I also want to add something to La Republic. You see, even after 57 years, we did not forget what we learned, the liberal ways we learned from the British, or that was, to be honest, the liberal ways that humans really are. When I say that, I look at La Republic, I'm like, why can't they fight this whole thing?
My brother,
let me say this. So what I'm trying to bring here is that once a man has been stretched, it never goes back. So if La Republic thinks that they are going to beat us up now or bring some bilingualism thing and somehow coax us into control again, no, the minds have been stretched.
Bro,
the minds have been stretched and they are never going back.
My brother, they know it's not going to work.
Yes.
Because you know how before, a lot of people were so afraid to actually say it as it is.
Yes.
You heard Honorable Joa the other day.
Oh, he was clear.
He was clear. He made it emphatically clear to Musonga that we don't need your bilingualism commission. Did
you read the report that the bilingualism commission?
They wrote it in French.
No, there was a translation.
Oh, there was?
My goodness. I'll check that out. They did not write anything that happened. They went and thought of what Bia wants to hear and wrote it.
Exactly, and that is exactly the problem with Cameroon. They go and he sends all these buffoons, and they go there, listen to people, tell them the real problem, and they go to Bia and they try to give him something else.
You know why they do that, though? The reason they do that is because they want to. The sending of that commission is to pretend to the international world that, we're doing something about this problem. Like you said, their real solution for it is to beat us to death and kill as many and reduce, because they have mortgaged.
Let's kill their spirit.
They have mortgaged our resources, and right now there is no option of us being ourselves, because what would they do with all the mortgages they've collected and stolen and built?
600.
So no, but whoever loaned money to La Republic, it's a losses money. You sold on credit.
I'm telling you, man.
So here's the deal.
This is really
So here's the deal, Pa. I'm really glad that you came. I think obviously you have taken a leadership role. So we'll come to you all the time when we need to hear what leadership is thinking of. The leadership of Minnesota. I think to lead Minnesota is a very key partner in the struggle. And let me tell you why I always, you said something about me and Diaspora on the ground. The ground has impressed me.
Oh my God.
So much that, and I'm saying that as somebody who have been part of trying from the Diaspora to change that thing down there, and it never really picked up.
You have been in this for a very long time.
And so when
I think I am a Johnny just come. Compared to you, that's what I've been.
Well, I tell you what, let me tell you something here. I had at a job location, right? Mm-hmm. And we're having training one time, and this trainer said, you can be in a particular job for 30 years, right? and that job is a job where if you're there for 2 years, you know everything. So a 30-year experience is not different from a 2-year experience. So, but I think because if you ask those kids right now on the ground, people just came in, they've lived everything and they know everything. It's always said
their hearts have been hardened.
It's always said a word to a wise is enough. I think our people were kept in the dark, but thank God there were some people still around that could help us understand. And then we try and capture some of them on video. Some have passed, but they're still speaking.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so all our people, I'm very confident all our people are educated right now, and they're ready for this fight. Even the 5-year-olds, you saw them singing Amba.
It was amazing.
Yeah, so no, we're ready.
And people like Pali Jumbe, God has really preserved his life. That man is almost about 94 or 95.
Yes, and he still walks and talks.
He walks. He doesn't use a walker. He's still as articulate.
Yes.
Like he was when he was in his 60s.
Yes.
And so he has actually been of monumental help. He has actually helped educate a lot of people who didn't have a good understanding of what our struggle is all about. One other thing I wanted to add about Minnesota is that we have a lot of people, we have a big community here in Minnesota. But there are a lot of people who still, maybe for their own reason, I don't want to maybe state some reason that is not maybe so, but I know a lot. I've talked to a few people, and there was I will hear things like, you know what I mean, we really want to support, but we don't want our name out there. What I'm gonna say is, look,
anybody still hiding now? What are they hiding from?
Look, anybody who wants to come in slowly, that's their problem. And you know what? If somebody doesn't want to show themselves, but they still contribute, who cares?
See, most people, if you go down there from the United States, you'll be whacked. If you go down there from the diaspora, anywhere, you're an enemy.
I guess what I'm trying to say is,
what's the point?
If somebody who is who is in Minnesota, who doesn't attend meetings, doesn't want to involve himself, him or herself into this thing, and he has, let's say, something to contribute, because it's not just money. You might have maybe a bag of rice that you want to contribute. You may have maybe a 10 gallon of groundnut oil or peanut oil or olive oil. Do it. It's not that we're going to write your name and publish it. We need as much help as we need.
Yes.
As we can. If you don't have, that's fine. But if you can help, but your only fear is that I don't like me the Ambazonian things, then you are actually helping enslave these people. You are actually helping, these mothers and these mothers who just had babies just go
and they had nothing with Ambazonia.
They had nothing with these are people who had nothing.
Yeah.
The real people who have been fighting the government are still there fighting them.
But one of the things I want to say, let me just add to this. People who move society forward, it's not the crowd, it's the one person who comes there and have that good idea. And if you can convince, like all of Ambazonia has been convinced, then that's even greater. But Pa, I really thank you for coming, and let's continue to do the good work. I think you have a lot of ideas, and I'm glad that you're materializing them really, really quick.
Yep.
And I think that many other communities will see this, and I'm glad that you're giving information so that they can participate in some of these ideas and bring.
Oh, absolutely! Just go to www.ambazoniafreedom.com and get your flush them out toilet paper. Flush them out.
Yes.
The toilet paper has a picture of Cheruma. It says, Isa Cheruma, eat shit. That's all you're good for. Paul Biya, eat shit. That's all you're good for. Atanganji, eat shit. That's what you're good for. Nothing makes you feel better.
Atanganji is really a traitor. That's a traitor.
So it's like...
Traitors, look at Judas Iscariot's... Pa, do you know... A traitor is worse than a slave, isn't it?
A traitor is somebody with no honor.
Yes, and
slaves have honor.
Yeah, slaves have honor because they have nothing to do with their enslavement. Because
horrible things are done to them,
yes.
But that doesn't take away their honor.
Yes,
you know what I mean. So, again, www.ambazoniafreedom.com to get your flush them out toilet paper. And my people and my brothers and sisters in Minnesota, please, I'm begging you to, even if you don't support, you don't want your name exposed, even if you don't want anybody to know that you are for Ambazonia, you can still make your contribution. not just with money, but you can material things. You can give anything that you have, because we're gonna start putting together stuff to ship the next container. So I really appreciate that you had me here today and gave me this opportunity, even though I was a little bit, you know what I mean, because I don't do this very often. I know you're a pro, but you know, this is something.
No, we're not pros, but
this is something totally new to me. So,
the circumstances ask all of us to do what we can where we are. You know what I'm saying?
So let's look forward to making Minnesota great, making Ambazonia greater. You know what I mean? And let's let Minnesota rock.